Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest dev blog about Alliance Wars, and we're going to go through everything that they're telling us about it right now, and it seems pretty interesting. But first, before we jump into that, if you're just now finding my channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. All right, so Alliance Wars update. So we've heard about Alliance Wars over the past several months. We've seen that article in Polygon. The devs have given a little bit of information out about it. I think this is the most information here that they've put out that gives us the biggest picture of what this Alliance Wars update is going to be all about. So let's just go through this really quick. We're going to go through each section and just talk about a few things. I'm not going to read through it word for word. There are some things that I do want to point out, though. So with this, they're just talking about how this is the newest feature to test alliance coordination, roster power, and in-game strategy, which is pretty cool because I think everything that the devs have been doing with the game kind of leads us up to this point, right? With Stark Tech and Red Stars and everything else that we have going on. Again, they've got a long-term roadmap for the game, and every little piece kind of just adds up to that next piece of content. And I think this Alliance Wars can be something that's really cool, really brings alliances together just by reading through this. I mean, again, alliance coordination, obviously roster power. I think everyone probably has a pretty deep roster by now if you've been playing since launch early this year. And then again, in-game strategy, and you'll see where that comes into play here in just a little bit. And it's talking about big payouts for topping the leaderboards and alliances going one-on-one to really find out who that number one alliance is going to be. And I think power is going to play a large part of it, but going through what they've put out in this blog, I'm really hoping strategy comes into play as well, that it's not strictly just based on power. And they've told us before in the last blog that the number isn't the end-all be-all, and I think that's true. So I really hope that this strategizing piece really comes into play, because I think that'd be really cool. It talks about coming into early 2019, so I'm thinking probably January, early February at the latest. But they also do warn that it is still in alpha testing. So with that in mind, things in this blog here could change. But also, I think with that in mind, it has the potential to be pushed out if they find that they need to do it. So I would keep that in mind. All right, what is Alliance War? So it matches up your alliance against another alliance in a daily head-to-head helicarrier battle. And the objective is really to outscore your opponents within 12 hours. I wish that it was a 24-hour timer. The 12-hour timer, though, again, alliance coordination right there, right? So if you have an alliance with multiple time zones, you're going to really want to coordinate with the members of your alliance in those different time zones, so they have an opportunity to get in there and do what they can do and maximize how much your alliance can do in the event. So we'll see if it stays at the 12-hour or if they adjust that a little bit, but it is a 12-hour timer on the Alliance Wars. And then you score points based on knocking out enemies, clearing a room, and then your points are right here. So if you knock out the defenders of the room, then it's 1 point per knockout. And then depending on the room, 50 to 200 points. Each room is pretty cool because it allows a certain advantage. And then I'm assuming by taking out that room, you take away that advantage. So it talks about strategizing with your alliance will be key. And then you'll need to formulate an offensive and defensive strategy. But there's no single right way of doing so. So that'll be pretty cool. So you're gonna have to place defenders, you're gonna have to place attackers, you're gonna have to figure out kind of what the best coordination is for your team, because you're gonna have within your alliance, you're gonna have a wide range of members, right? You're gonna have some members that really have a deep roster and they've really been working on their overall global collection power, and then you're gonna have members who aren't as far or as deep into their roster as some other people are. So you're going to really want to kind of figure that out. How best can each of your alliance members contribute to Alliance Wars? Next, your helicarrier. So this talks about the different rooms. The helicarrier is made up of tactically significant rooms that you must defend, and each of those rooms give some sort of benefit. For example, the med bay here, let's see, grants a 40% health boost to defensive squads. The hangar applies speed up to some attackers. So it says some attackers. They don't say it in here. So I'm wondering if some of the rooms are trait based. Maybe that's where some of the strategy comes in, because you got to pay attention to who's a defender. Who's a protector, who's a controller, who is skill, who is bio, who is mystic, things like that. So not sure, but it seems that way. Rooms can be repositioned. This is pretty cool. This is, I think, where strategy comes in. So you're able to move the rooms around and come up with a composition that best suits your alliance and the strengths of your alliance. So let's just go and read through that really quick. Rooms can be repositioned to different locations within your helicarrier, and the positioning of your rooms impact the order in which they can be attacked. Your helicarrier is automatically reinforced by low-level shield agents in each room, but you can choose to bolster your defenses with characters from your own roster instead. So, again, allowing you to do some different stuff. All right, and this part right here is pretty cool. Clever leaders will formulate their ideal defensive plan by finding the synergies between their alliances, collections, and helicarrier rooms. So that's what I was talking about earlier, where you really figure out kind of where best to place the different members of your alliance, where best to place their characters. And then placing those rooms in the order that benefits them most, and investing just enough collection power to stall out the opposing alliance's assault. So this, it seems like a pretty cool puzzle to figure out, between figuring out where you want to place the rooms, who are your best defenders in your alliance, who's going to be your best attackers. Decisions like that, and again, anything that brings the alliance together to communicate and come up with a plan in order to dominate that next piece of content, whether it's a raid or these alliance wars, I think is absolutely awesome. So I have a lot of excitement about these alliance wars, and I really hope that it's as cool as this seems. Your command. So your alliance's ability to command and coordinate your collective rosters is key to succeeding in alliance wars. And then it talks about some of the limitations here. So each character can only be used for one attack or to defend one room. So again, the larger you have of a roster, the more you're going to be able to do in alliance wars. It does say not both, and each alliance member has around a dozen attacks per war. And then it goes on to having the ability to heal defensive teams a limited number of times, and then ultimately alliance wars will give commanders the opportunity to show off the creative application of their entire rosters, not just the strongest 5 to 10 characters. So again, it's not necessarily based off of total power of your team or strongest team power. It's really which characters are best suited for which function: defense, attacking, which rooms. So that's going to be a fun puzzle to put together for a while, until you really start seeing people come up with kind of what works best for them, right? And again, I think this is going to be interesting too, because I'm sure that we'll be putting like a bunch of videos out together on this is what worked for me, this is what worked for us over here. But because of the makeup of the roster, because of the different ways that different people have chosen to upgrade the power of their teams through Stark Tech, and however Red Star has worked out for them, it's gonna make things a little bit differently. So maybe one way isn't going to be the best way. Like they said in the beginning of this, there's no right way to do it, and maybe there's going to be multiple ways out there to set things up, and what's really working for one person isn't necessarily going to work for another alliance. And then finally, it just talks about readying your alliance. It says you'll have to evolve your team, strategy, and alliance constantly to stay one step ahead of the competition. This is just an early preview. So they're going to have some more information coming out in the coming weeks, months, however long it takes in order to get this out, to give us just a little bit more information. But I think the best way to prepare for this is really just to continue to work on your rosters, bringing all of your low-level characters up, not just the main ones. I think in a way minions will play a part in this as well, especially with Red Stars. So there you go, everybody. That is Alliance Wars for you. The newest information about it that came out on Friday. really looking forward to getting in there and kind of figuring some stuff out and see, how much of an impact Red Stars plays in it, how much of an impact StarkTech plays into it, and kind of, what we're going to run up against. It's an unknown. I think it's a unique way to play the game. It's in a way similar to some other content that are in some other games, but I think it adds a little bit of a twist as well. So I'd be curious in your thoughts on Alliance Wars. What do you think? So there you go, everybody. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.